you are located in the world. My name is Paola Corti, and I am the Open Education Community Manager at Spark Europe. And we have today 4 incredible people helping us in this workshop. The title of this workshop today is Embrace the Open, is the 13th in our series, and the focus is on open education and generative AI. And we are going to have real case use cases from the field, thanks to our guest. Our facilitators today are Marta Bustillo from University College Dublin in Ireland. Thank you for being with us today, Marta. And Sylvia Moes from Surf and Enpus in the Netherlands. Thank you, Sylvia, for again giving us your time. And we have as guests Sandra Dunkin from University College Dublin in Ireland. Hi, Sandra, nice to have you with us. And Harry van der Meer from University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So I'm happy to have all the participants in the room. Just in case you don't know about us recording, consider closing your webcam if you don't want to be recorded, or feel free to share the floor with us with your faces. And I'm going to shut up now. And when you need me, call me on.
Okay, so let's get started. This is the plan for today. Paola has already done the introduction. We shortly are going to have a poll to get a sense of what your role is and how you are using AI tools in your institution. And then we will present the first case study, which comes from University College Dublin. We will then have a discussion and Q&A session. And then we'll present the second case study, which comes from the Netherlands, and we'll have our summary and a little bit more of a discussion after case study 2. So this is us, but Paola has already introduced us. So those are the faces that you will be seeing in this presentation today. And this is what we are hoping you will be able to do by the end of this workshop. So you will be able to apply practical open education approaches to developing AI literacy supports, identify GenAI tools to help users search through third-party platforms, understand the use of domain-specific taxonomies to train large language models, identify relevant open GenAI tools to collaborate on creating interactive learning, understand how a model control protocol can help you search through platforms with open educational resources, and then reflect on ways in which GenAI can contribute to open educational practices in your role as a librarian. So, Paola, can you launch the poll for us, please?
So we have librarians, researchers, and the people dealing with services, specialists, support head, educational answer, educational libraries, training developers. So it's and people dealing with repositories also, not only in terms of open science. We have information specialists in education, research support and open science manager, librarians, and people responsible of the repository and work in open science. And then they are, in terms of use of generative AI tools, we have people relying on generative AI tools to summarize long documents, extract key insights, and generative visualization for presentations. And basically, as a brainstorm partner, interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of that happening here too.
Yeah. And someone is working to generate ideas and text for various communications, and someone using it for creating posts on social media as a helpful tool. And some other people use it to not as part of their routine because they are worried about the environmental footprint of this.
Absolutely. Okay. So let me share my screen now. And let's introduce what we're doing at UCD. Whoa. Okay, so we're going with the case study 1, which is Open Education Practices for AI Literacy Supports at UCD in Ireland. And this section, this case study, has 2 parts. One deals with open pedagogies, digital literacy, and AI, and the other one talks about developing our UCD AI guide in the library. A disclaimer. A lot of what we are doing at UCD at the moment is not so much to do with using open tools or creating open outputs. It's more about practices that make it possible for open things to happen, shall we say. So to put it in context, UCD Library launched a digital literacy initiative in 2022. We created a framework, and this is the framework. These are the things that we are hoping to help students with. So we focus on helping students find and use digital information and data, understand digital identities and practices, create and communicate digital information, think critically and evaluate digital information and data, and collaborate and share in digital spaces. As you can imagine, AI touches on all of these topics. And because it does, we need to be very mindful about how we incorporate open practices to helping our staff and students develop AI literacy. This is my favorite description of what open educational practices are. It comes from Catherine Croning. So collaborative practices that include the creation, use, and reuse of OER, as well as pedagogical practices employing participatory technologies and social networks for interaction, peer learning, knowledge creation, and empowerment of learners. That's what I am going to focus on, that second part, the pedagogical practices, how I see my role as a digital learning librarian and an open education librarian, incorporating those kinds of practices. So the first thing is that obviously AI came in the scene very quickly and we had to adapt very quickly. So one of the first things that I did to support AI literacy way back in 2023 relates to peer learning and knowledge creation. We just simply organize an AI in higher education webinar for the entire UCD community and beyond. And we were filling a gap because different areas of UCD were doing different things about AI, but there was not a conversation. So we facilitated that university-wide conversation about different attitudes to AI, and that then led to invitations to speak at various university fora and to developing a workshop for staff on AI ethics. So that's the practice there is peer learning and knowledge creation, because using also collaborative practices in the creation of OER, we delivered a workshop on artificial intelligence and ethical practice in teaching and learning. And again, we used open pedagogical approaches in that I collaborated with staff in UCD Teaching and Learning and the Access and Lifelong Learning units. We co-designed a workshop with each team member focusing on their own expertise, from teaching to information gathering to accessibility and all of that. And then we facilitated a peer reflection among staff, teaching staff mostly, from many different areas of UCD. Looking at the ethics of AI use, we used The Civics of Technology's 5 Critical Questions About Tech. If you've never heard about this project, I really urge you to go and have a look at it. It's also an open educational project. And they ask 5 critical questions about any technology. What does society give up for the benefits of this technology? Who is harmed and who benefits from this technology? What does this technology need? What are the unintended changes caused by this technology? And why is it difficult to imagine our world without this technology? So we basically launched these questions and had people sitting in tables and discussing this. And it was one of the first serious discussions about the ethical aspects and the environmental aspects of using AI. Okay. The other thing that we have done is that as part of the Digital Literacy Initiative, I got some funding to create an online course called Digital Skills for Success in the Workplace. And in that course, we include some very, very light touch guidance on ethical use of generative AI tools, information about critically evaluating the information that comes out of AI, and being transparent about use of AI. And again, we used open pedagogical approaches. We co-created the course with students as partners. It was a team of 10 staff and students from across the university. And we co-wrote the whole thing, 5 units. And then to be as close as possible to that open pedagogical approach, we created OER materials for each of the tutorials and made them publicly available. Obviously, there are a lot of things that we could be doing using AI that actually are much more practical. And so these are some of our plans in terms of how to use AI to improve on our digital literacy resources and outputs. And we hope to select open AI tools to help generate alternative text for images, to support multilingual outputs, and also to help us make our digital literacy resources more compliant with UDL principles. And I have to shout out to Tracy Poser, who is in the room, I believe, and has an absolutely fantastic workshop on AI and OER and how to use open generative AI tools to help create OER outputs. So those are, from the point of view of digital literacy, those are the open approaches that we have used to encourage AI literacy. And now I'm going to hand you over to my colleague, Sandra Dunkin, who developed UCD Library's AI guide, and she's going to talk to you about some of the processes that went into developing that.
Okay, so just to start, and a brief sort of declaration about the title of this section. It reflects entirely on me, and it sums up the initial approach I had to the idea of developing an AI guide for the library. So I came to the job in January of 2024, and my official title is the Academic Integrity and AI Librarian. So I had a good understanding of academic integrity, but absolutely no notion of how to approach the other part of my job role, addressing AI. So I spent a great deal of time reading many articles, endless hours of webinars, and so on, trying to comprehend how to approach the subject of AI in order to be able to support both students and academics. So I combed the internet looking for other university AI guides to help me understand and formulate the basis of the AI guide. So I'd like to take a moment in this slide to acknowledge a select number of the resources that I found most valuable, as well as some of the organizations and people who have made contributions before me. So these were the top guides that I turned to for sort of the basic framework in developing UCD's AI guide. And these all had various different contributions. I did actually, with permission, borrow content from Breda University in the Netherlands for some of our AI prompt engineering information, and you will find it there with proper attribution and so on. But I'd also like to take a moment to thank Marta, because she did so much preliminary work before I joined the team under the scope of her digital literacy remit. And she also helped to guide me on my own personal path towards understanding AI. But she also made several valuable contributions to the guide during its development process. So if we move on to the guide itself, this is what it looks like. So until April of this year, we had no central area to find information about AI within the library. There were little pockets of information, generally relevant to specific tasks such as scholarly communications and so on. So but we noticed in our engagements, certainly with Marta's workshops and other conversations that we had around campus, that there was a very pervasive sense of anxiety and unease among students and often staff as well about AI use. So information around campus had been patchy and inconsistent, with local guidance often conflicting between schools in the same college and sometimes even within those schools. So, and there were also broad range of responses to AI from academics, sometimes draconian, sometimes evangelical, and all variations on the spectrum in between. So when drafting the AI guide, I was especially keen to provide a balanced representation, one that avoided judgment and prescriptive language, but which also upheld good academic integrity practice at the same time. So to address the anxiety around AI, I wanted to use AI with a critical review and full attribution to actually talk about AI. So AI is used in the development of the guide. So if we move on to the next slide. So we wanted to use a range of different tools that sort of represented the broad spectrum of what we were seeing across campus, so student and faculty use. So all of these tools have been at least interacted with in the development of the guide, some with more success than others. But in each instance where we have engaged with AI tools, we have created a proper citation to actually demonstrate proper attribution for staff and students going forward, so that they can actually see the application of academic integrity practices in their use of AI. On to the next slide. So to highlight the need for critical review of the AI outputs, we decided to publish one text in which we maintained some of the minor errors. So in this example, it is the output about sustainability. And if you look closely at the output, you will see that there are a number of footnotes at the bottom of the text. There are 8 in total, but only 3 of which are actually noted in the body of the text. The others have disappeared. So we have actually flagged this and actually made a note of this so that people can understand what actually happens, so that they are referred back to check the outputs and not just take them at face value and reproduce them in their work. On to the next page. So yes, all of the outputs, the remaining outputs were assessed for critical, for accuracy and proper citation, and making sure that the formatting was correct in all the other outputs. Images did prove to be very tricky to generate, and I would recommend developing your skills with good iterative practice, because some of the images were, shall we say, rather disturbing and not appropriate for inclusion in the AI guide. So yes, you need to develop your prompting skills. I was a novice at this. So moving on to the next slide. So we did include some information about prompt engineering. Now, the frameworks that are shown here came to us sort of partway through the development of the guide. So not all of our outputs will be in a framework style of prompt, but we included them here so that people can understand that you can actually put structure onto the AI prompts so to create better responses from the AI tools. On to the next slide. So we definitely struggled with our initial prompting of AI tools. Specifically the free ones were more problematic than the subscription versions. But we thought it would be useful to add some reassurance that, like research skills, AI prompting requires reiteration and, above all, patience. So almost all of the prompts that we used in the creation of the content are included within the guide as transcripts so that you can actually go and have a look at how we actually produce the content, what the engagement was with the AI tools. So this was in order to maintain transparency and to actually demonstrate how we were engaging with the AI tools. Next slide. So there was also an obvious need to expand on and improve our citation information with respect to AI. So we wanted to use real world examples, and this comes back to the idea of using AI tools in the creation of content for the guide. So we have included full citations for each of the images and pieces of content using all of the different styles that are currently in use at UCD. We also provide structured guidance for citing AI within this guide, which is replicated on each of our individual style guides for reference so that students and faculty can come to that information by whichever means is most appropriate to them. Next slide. So we also wanted to be sure to offer a broad scope of information with respect to the topic of AI. So as you can see here, we have a number of different information pieces that we have included here. This was also a collaborative effort with contributions from other colleagues within the library, as well as representatives from Access and Lifelong Learning to provide expertise on topics such as copyright and disability assistance. Still to come, we are hoping to develop a section covering AI and mental health issues with all the information that is present in the news these days about AI assisting in self-harm and sometimes harm to others. We think it might be beneficial to have a nod at least to mental health issues and the use of AI. We also want to note that all of our content is reusable under the provisions of the Creative Commons CC BY NC SA provisions. So if we move on to the next slide, sorry, I've included it in both places, my apologies. So the guide doesn't claim to be exhaustive, but it is hoped that it provides an awareness and a thoughtful assessment of AI, providing points of engagement and signposting to find additional information, training, and links to relevant legislation and guidelines. So the landscape is continuing to evolve. So this guide will be maintained on a regular basis to ensure that the information reflects any new developments going forward. And there's my reference to the Creative Commons again. So that's the UCD guide.
Thank you, Sandra. And just to reiterate that our focus at the moment is on open practices rather than open tools, because this is where we are and we have to work with our local environment. But eventually we are aiming to use open tools as much as possible and obviously to make everything available in a very open way, reusable, remixable, etc., etc.
Yeah, this is a first step in providing supports for AI at UCD within the library.
Okay, and we are coming to our discussion and Q&A, so I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. And basically, what we are trying to do now is to get a sense of how you yourselves are reflecting about AI in your role, and how we can use AI in effective ways to improve our open educational approaches.
So there were a number of questions, of course, one about the environmental impact of the engagement with AI tools, and how did I feel about that, and how do we actually approach that. And we talked about how our engagement in the development of the guide was a judicious use of AI to demonstrate in practical terms the aspects of academic integrity, because of course that's the lens through which I'm looking at generative AI, because that's part of my job, and so I wanted to demonstrate the more practical aspects of proper attribution. And unfortunately, I've forgotten the rest of the conversation. So it's in the moment.
There was a question of Monique, how you used it for supporting open education, and she wants to reuse it in her university.
Oh yes, under the Creative Commons, and specifically with respect to the images, and because we do have the CC BY NCSA provision on the entire guide. So all the content is reusable, but she did raise a question for me about the AI generated images in terms of the copyright. So I might need to go back and investigate whether or not all of the images are available for reuse. So I think that's a little side project for me before
Sandra, I can actually answer that, because I was actually thinking about that before this presentation, and so I went to the different tools that we use for image generation, and all of them allow you to. So basically, the ones that we subscribe to, as part of the subscription, we have complete control over how we share and reuse those images. So basically, we have created the prompt, the image is ours in that sense. And then with some of the free tools, exactly the same, except they also reserve the right to reshare the images with third parties. But we can use them too. So basically, anyone who wants to reuse our images from our guide, they can.
Thank you, Marta. That's fantastic.
Okay, so in our room, there was unfortunately a few people who couldn't speak because they were in a public space. So it was a more reduced discussion. But there were a number of common themes, like that sense of a very disjointed approach to the use of AI from different areas of their institutions, and a feeling that there is a gap and that students need guidance. And I was just saying that partly the reason why we created the guide was because there was that gap. And Tracy was commenting on the fact that she felt that there was a real need for collaboration with the library. Tracy is based in the equivalent of the Teaching and Learning Center in her university in Groningen. And, again, what we always talk about in these ENOEL webinars, which is not just about the open tools and the open outputs, but that open approach, the building relationships, the equal collaboration, that's how we create an open culture. And that's something that will serve us really well with AI. And then Harry was also talking about all the amazing work that they've done with creating taxonomies for information literacy, which they are going to be talking about right now.
Harry and I talk about the case study, a pilot study, how we can use AI in combination with diverse tools we created, and how we support on a national level the creation of interactive learning for information literacy and using an MCP to find the right open materials on learning outcomes. So there will come a lot of models and things, but it's needed to understand the concept where we are coming from. At the end, Harry will tell you what we do with it. So I will start with all the parts that are important to go to that output. Yes, if you can go to the next slides. Yes, I will give you first an introduction on the domain-specific taxonomies. In the Netherlands, I'm the person for SURF who is supporting communities to set up national domain-specific taxonomies with learning outcomes for a specific domain. And then we go later on in how we use that in the national platforms to share and publish open educational resources. Then we go into the interactive wheels based on Bloom and information literacy, and then we go to the demo. So there are different parts building up to the end. Yes. If we can go to the next slide. You cannot read this, but it gives an overview that Harry and colleagues worked on looking at different international standards for information literacy. And if you click one more time, Marta, please, then the standards comes a little bit bigger. Oh, no.
No? Okay.
There it is, yes. So they looked at different standards to see what do they have in common and how can we use these standards to come up with a domain-specific vocabulary that can provide collection of learning materials and outcomes for information literacy. And no matter what standard you are using, national or in an international level, they have all things in common on learning output. We can see that on the next slide. There you can see the setup of the vocabulary in a visualization. You see 5 main levels and then subcategories and subcategories, and each category has a definition with learning outcomes, with all the institutions of the Netherlands say, yes, we are happy with this, we will use that, because that's the most hard part to achieve. And I, from SURF, help to create linked data with it so we can use it in platforms and tools. If we go to the next slide, they also worked on not only on the outputs in general over the different international standards, but they also succeeded to make boxes for level 1, 2, and 3 with learning outcomes. And the arrows that you see in different colors are the 5 main categories. And when you click on that, it's an interactive model, and you see the level of learning outcomes for edu badges, for micro-credentials that you can use to give to students what they achieve. And all these elements we are using in AI for design interactive learning later on. If we go to the next level, yes, then you also see the must-haves, and the nice-to-haves and the must-haves, of course, are the most important ones to take with us in the AI script later on. If you go to the next. Yes, and then click again, please, because now we go to the why we are doing this. The taxonomy structure is available as linked data, and via an API, we integrate that in SURF ShareKit, a national repository to share and publish open learning materials. And when you go to the Dutch word vakvocabularies, that is the domain-specific vocabularies, you see we have 5 of them at the moment, and information literacy is there as well. And when you see at the bottom of the slide, you see the levels that you saw before in the categories, subcategories, and so further. So everyone is working on a standardized way to share learning materials. And you can also filter via that structure on the national platform, which is on the next slide. Here you can see the collection of learning materials on the community side of information literacy on the national platform. Because when the team of Hari is working with the metadata in SurfShareKit, what you saw before, it automatically now comes into the collection of materials via the vocabulary. So everyone can go very quick to certain areas to work with certain outcomes. If we go to the next slide, then you see critical evaluation, and then you can see how you can filter on the levels again to go to the materials. So you see 97 educational resources in the first level, and then the second level is 49, and then at the end you have 37. So they are very specific available. And then later on, you can also filter if you want to have video or HTML or images or whatever you need. And the metadata standard is LOM, Learning Object Metadata, variety of IEEE LOM, but then the Dutch version. If we go to the next slide, and then we go to the interactive wheel. With Robert Schuer, I worked, and Leontien van Rossum on desk research to see how can we use different technical formats of open educational resources or digital resources as well to certain learning outcomes, because each technical video has other characteristics than text. It helps in other learning outcomes. And there was no research on that. And we thought, oh, that's strange, because we think it's necessary to help and for instructional design for your courses. So we developed that Wheel of Insight tool, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And if we go to the next slide, then we also bring that further for information literacy. And here is where Hari will take over from me and tell you what he did with it.
Yes, well, our idea with the AI inspiration wheel was to go a step further, not only linking to articles, but to show lecturers some inspiring, interesting learning materials they could use by using the QR code. And going to the next one. What we actually did is what we combined both the learning level and also the facet of the taxonomy, dus the subject with the learning activity, also in the circle, and the learning material or technical format. And we combined it into a prompt. And that prompt leads to both to an edit environment in which the prompt is stored and is shared, but also to the expiring examples themselves. And these examples, for example, are assignments or test questions or instructional working forms. But we also wanted to link them to existing learning materials in the platform e-resources to see what's there already available and if it could be reused by the new materials. Going to the next slide. So the core concept is to combine the Bloom's taxonomy with the subject vocabulary, with the technical formats, the learning outcomes, and to translate them into an AI prompt, saving them into the edit environment. And within the edit environment, teachers can work further on on the learning materials and refine them and well, develop them as complete learning materials that could be used. And within the process, as I said before, we also checked what's available in Editors already. So the next slide and even the next one. Because however, there are some fast developments in AI and in GenAI. So we moved actually from the idea of the wheel itself, and we translated the same concept into a custom GPT, which I will show you in a few moments. Then the next one. The next slide, sorry. One now. Yeah, so I already talked about showing related materials in AD sources, and the same concept you would wanted to have that as well in the custom GPT. And for that, we used the so-called MCP. I don't know, do you know that term already? It's Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard that connects data sources to AI assistants, like, for example, Claude. And it's a little bit comparable to the API. I think everyone knows the term API. So it's just a connection between those two platforms. So Surf started with Claude, the MCP for Claude and AD sources. Then afterwards in October, 13th of October, ChatGPT. And soon AD GenAI will follow. And it's a little bit of a sidestep. Next slide, please. Because what is AD GenAI? It's actually a national platform that's still in the pilot phase. And it's actually a chatbot designed with privacy and data protection in mind. So it's a safe environment for working in a chatbot for both lecturers and students, teachers. And well, this platform is actually built on the UVA AI chat mainly, and that one is built within my institution. And as I said, it's a side note, but the reason I wanted to mention it is because by creating the custom GPT, we also would like to use the MCP to in a later stadium, not only to ChatGPT, but also to AD GenAI or even the UVA AI chat or other chats bots. And having said that, I think I'm going now to take over the screen because I would like to show you the concept of what we have so far. I built a different version. So this one is about is a learning material generator for information literacy, but we also made a general one. And that one is for learning materials in general that could be used for everything actually. But now because of the information literacy taxonomy, we wanted to build that in. So I made a special one for the information literacy part. So the starting screen you could choose for a learning activity, assignments, e-learning or other sources. In this case, I'm going for the assignment. And then we started. And then it says, welcome to the information literacy learning material generator. Let's begin with the first steps. So now we're going to start with the learning level. Would you like to explore, apply, or deepening? Well, in this case, I use the apply one. And then it's continuing, and it's asking me for the Bloom level. Which Bloom level would I like to have? Now, in this case, well, let's do the apply one again. Well, the Bloom level C, so it summarizes it a little bit, and then now we're going to use the right facet from the taxonomy. So maybe we could visualize it in a later stadium in a better way. But we'll say that now I would like to have to select the evaluation of content. Then I say 3.1.3. And then it's asking for a short explanation of this facet, please, because I don't know what it actually means. And then here it gives the definition we already gave in, because we gave definitions to all the facets of the taxonomy. And yeah, it also gives an example. And now from the taxonomy, we go on to the learning outcome. And unfortunately, I forgot actually to copy a learning outcome, so I am doing it now. And it's available on our website. Within this model that Sylvia already showed me. So I don't know what I selected, but well, let's say I'm doing this one. Well, it's in Dutch now, but probably it will translate it into English, I hope. And I go back. Would you like to have a secondary facet? No, but I would like to have the learning outcome. This is the learning outcome. Here normally it doesn't do this one, but it's still giving me a question in between. So let's choose the first one. Would you like to turn it into a smart version? Or smarter version, maybe? Well, it shows you a smarter version here. Which one do you want to keep, the original or the smart one? Let's say the smart one. Yeah, so it's asking for the target audience. Let's say university students. First year. Do they work individually or in pairs? Individually. How much time do you want to take? 45 minutes. A specific team, it's about information literacy, but say I would like to have something about healthcare as well. It must be the combination of it. Then we're coming to the end. Are there any conditions or constraints? Well, I could add anything, but in this case, I will say no. And now it's asking to check with the MCP I was talking about to check related to learning materials in AD sources. So yes, I would like to do that. No, this is an in-between one as well. How specific? It's a new one actually. I should filter it out maybe. No, let's say medium then. Okay. And here it shows some recommended materials. Now it's asking to expand the search. I could use yes or no. Well, we do have two already, but now let's say no. I would like to expand it. It hopefully shows me more than two, as you can see here. Would you like to incorporate it? Yes, and now we're coming to the generating the assignment itself. Or if you would like to adjust something first, you could choose the second one. But now I would like to have the learning material, so the assignment. So here it is. And I'm not going into the content at this moment. And here's even give you something from Merlot and OER Commons as well. The final step, would we like to make some adjustments? No adjustments in this case. And then the next step, we are still thinking about it, but because what we would like to do is to transfer it straight away to the edit environment. And would you like to add anything else? No. It gives me a few extra questions now before I didn't do that, so I need to look at that. But we would like to have an extra question for transferring it into the edit environment wiki-wijs maken. And we still need some technical API stuff to let it work. So that's actually then it will be complete. Actually, we would like to transfer the assignment straight away into the editable environment in which teachers could work further. So this is the idea of what we did so far.
Mm-hmm.
And we would like to bring it further, but this is the concept we do have now.
Yeah, but the benefit is that the teachers who are of information literacy can collaborate together because there is a library of the prompts. So not everyone have to do what Harry just did and can make use of it, make it better. And then you work together on interactive learning for information literacy. And then what Harry said is the export to a national edit platform to design interactive learning. And that circles back in EduSources, the national platform as well. So we have a whole wheel of collaborating together of 52 higher education institutions in the Netherlands. Yes.
Yeah, and there's also the general one, but I'm not going to show it because it's the same concept. And this one is without a taxonomy in it, but it's more general, so it could be used for any lecture.
Yeah. Thank you, Harry.
So yeah, this is the demonstration.
Yeah.
And maybe there are some more questions.
Questions, yeah.
I'm going to stop sharing now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have quite a few minutes for questions, for comments, for everything. I just put a comment in the chat. I love the way you have integrated everything. It's just fabulous. I know it must have been an immense amount of work, but like it really is so impressive.
Thank you.
The workflow is so logical. I just love it.
Thank you, Marta.
And the other thing that I love is the fact that you are creating a language model that looks after the privacy of the users and that can be used in educational institutions without having to rely on Microsoft or Google for, because I mean, at UCD, we have just published guidance on using AI for teaching and learning, and we're having to say, because the tools that are supported by the university are basically Copilot and Notebook LM and all of those, that this is what we have to recommend because these are the ones that we can be relatively okay about their respecting the privacy of the data. But obviously, we cannot be certain because they're Google and Microsoft, and we know what they do. And I mean, we're still waiting to hear somebody say, hey, we need a language model for all educational institutions in the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, it's not the language model itself, but the platform contains many language models. So it's a kind of technical thing in between. So it can translate all kind of language models into this chatbot. But the good thing is that we know that students will use GenAI anyway, like ChatGPT, for example.
Exactly.
It's better to do that in a safe environment.
Yeah. And what we also want to do, we did it now for information literacy, but as you saw, we have 4 other domain-specific vocabularies, so we can scale it up. And Harry is also working on the 6th one, Maybe you can tell a little bit about that, Harry, the one
Yeah,
that
that one is about digital literacy. And
Okay.
we have been thinking about making one specifically for AI literacy, but we decided to integrate it as much as possible, because all the AI literacy facets, they are part of digital literacy or information literacy or data literacy as well.
Exactly.
So we integrated a whole lot, and also I think in a few years' time probably the difference will be less. I think because it will integrate together.
Mm.
So and this this taxonomy will be published soon, but because we had some contact with the NPulse group, we wanted to have some peer feedback from them as well. So it takes a little bit longer, but it will not take very long.
Yeah,
Mm.
beginning of next year. Yeah.
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 Let's check if there are questions in the chat. Not so far.
While you check the chat, Marta, may I ask a question? So first of all, thank you, Harry and Sylvia, for the great work that you've been doing. It's really amazing. Is this, so as far as I understand it, the platform is available for the 52 universities. And is it open also for the large audience? Or do you plan to do something like this in the future? Is it safer to keep it closed? I don't know. I just wanted to ask you if this is part of the discussion.
Are you going to answer?
Yeah, you can start and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the platform is now basically first mentioned for educational purposes,
Of course.
for education, but I don't know what will happen in the future. But the education was the first purpose to make it for the teachers and for lectures.
Yeah. Maybe it's also nice to talk about that with Robert, Paola, with the three of us, how we can make it accessible for a bigger group. And the domain-specific vocabularies we made, they are open, available for reuse. And we nowadays we publish them in Dutch and in English, and you can grab them via an API. It's it's COS and RDF based on link data.
Okay.
And but
Thanks a lot.
let's pick that up, that discussion with Robert.
I have lifelong learners in mind. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yes.
Thank you.
Sylvia, Harry, it was very impressive. Thank you. I didn't know you were so far with it. Is it possible for all of us to experiment a little bit in the tool, in the generator? Is for the Dutch anyway, for the Dutch institutions?
I think it would be nice to take one step further. I think to see if we could combine it with the Wikiwijs, for example. And further than that, I think it should be possible to publish or to share it soon.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
At this point, it's not nowhere to be found to
No,
just
it's not in production
Not
at
yet.
the moment,
Okay.
as well as the MCP is not in production, but we are close to, this was testing ground, and
I heard about
we would
the
like to be in touch with you about it, and
at the Hanze at our university, there's someone else in lead with the AI, Marika Krebas. Maybe you heard of it. And she told us recently about the GenAI and the development there, but I didn't know you had that tool. That's really impressive.
And we have also plans to, now we have an MCP on EduSources, but we also want to make other MCPs on other platforms so everyone can reuse that again.
Great, thanks.
And maybe one thing to add maybe is because today is about open educational resources. I think one of the good things would be about this AI custom GPT is that we also connect it to the open education materials that are available already. And otherwise, yeah, it would be very possible that it will be a big concurrent of open education, those chatbots. And now we combine those two.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so impressive. I just love what you're doing. As always, I'm in awe of all the developments in the Netherlands, because you have such a methodical approach to these things. It's just lovely to see.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are a little bit lucky as well too.
Well, you have put things in place that I mean, luck needs to be helped by all the hard work that you're putting in.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else has questions?
We have 9 more minutes left. I can quickly share my screen. Just, it's in Dutch, not prepared, but to give you an idea what Wiekenwijs maken is and what the editor platform is that.
Good idea.
If you want to have that, let me see.
Yeah, great.
Zoom, this goes on the fly, but.
If there's time left, I could show the UVI AI chat, the platform.
Oh yeah, I will make this quick then, Harry. Okay, share. Can you see Wiekenwijs maken? Yeah, okay. So this is a national platform from Kennisnet. We have SURF for higher education and Kennisnet for everything that comes before higher education, but we work together with them and we develop further on this platform. So here you see the environment. I'm now logged in the team of Harry, and here you see all the levels that we have in the taxonomy, and then you can work together. Let's say for level 1, and here you have the learning outcomes, and then in the learning outcomes you can make materials with text, with video. Here you see all the assignments that Harry created are now in the national platform. So here you design your interactive learning together, and everyone can reuse this. So everyone can follow this or copy it, and when you copy it, you can edit it to your own way you want to have it. So now this is empty still because we are just what Harry said. We are busy with this step, but here you have the whole interactive modules, that you can work together on, and it can look like this. We also used it for open textbooks, this environment. Then you see here the chapters. You can do whatever you want with it. Here 6 universities also work together to create this, to give you an idea if it opens up quick enough. Here you have the levels of, and here it looks like this. So you have the learning outcomes, and then at the end you have test yourself questions. So this is the environment where you can collaborate together in designing interactive learning and not doing it by yourself and find the wheel out, over and over again. So yes, then I give the floor to Harry for the rest.
And hopefully we will be able to transfer it automatically after a while, but.
Yeah, exactly. So that you have an automated export to this platform and everything is ready and you don't have to work on it further. Yes.
Okay.
Harry and Sylvia, there is a question from Tracy.
Yeah.
And it says, thank you for sharing your good work. How is GenAI safer than using ChatGPT or other LLMs, since they're using the same data?
Yeah, but it doesn't bring the data outside of the organization.
Ah, okay.
So the data that you put in, it's stayed within the environment. So it doesn't go out, it doesn't go to the commercial companies.
Okay, so you have a tight rein on third parties, no sharing with third parties.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main idea actually. And well, this is the example of the UVA AI chat, and later on it will be Gen AI. As you can see, there's the chat function. So it's just like a normal chatbot. And within the chatbot, there's the internet search, the artifact creation, image generation, also a study modus, and of course the attachments. And you could choose also for different language models, and it shows also the energy usage. So that's also nice.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's also a nice thing about it. And further than that, there's the personas. There's a place to add personas. So I did have some personas already. So if you would like to add something, then you put it in here. And you could reuse the personas, of course. There's also a place for projects and a place for groups. And there's also the prompt library, and that one is interesting as well. So here you can, you can add different prompts. And if you go to the chat function, you could use this box for using some prompts in the prompt library. This is a Dutch one, but so it will come straight away in the search box, and you can go. And well, this is basically what it is at this moment.
It looks fantastic. And as Paola says, I love the fact that you can choose a less energy hungry tool. I think that's really important.
Obviously, is less than the high energy ones, but still, people are able to choose.
Yeah, and if you collaborate together, that's the main focus. That not everyone is repeating the prompts over and over again, and that's the winning point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Paola, do you want to say a word about what's coming next?
Thank you. So again, thank you, all of you, first of all, for everything that you shared. I really dream about having these kind of tools available for everyone. But honestly, I would love to have it also for the work that I'm doing together with others, with the same spirit that you just shared, Sylvia. It's useless for all of us to repeat the same prompts and consume energy asking the same questions for the same purposes. So it's really something that I look forward to have as an opportunity for everyone. But thank you for starting, because usually when you start something like this, then others can benefit because you openly share most of the work that you do. So I look forward to what is upcoming. In terms of what is upcoming with us as a community, we are in the process of planning workshops and open education cafes to be hosted in 2026. We have a list of activities that will be public soon, and we are in the process of designing them carefully to hopefully to be able to connect them to specific moments of the year as we usually do. So keep in touch with us. We will come back soon with new topics or new updates on topics like this one, which are very interesting for the community and all of us as practitioners. So thanks again to all of you, Sandra, Marta, Harry, Sylvia. Thank you again for all the work that you've been doing with us and for us today. It's been a privilege to have you. And thanks everyone who has been participating actively or listening. You're all welcome to come back to this community anytime you want.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for the collaboration, Marta, Sandra, and of course, many thanks to Harry as well, always. Yes.
And thanks to you, Sylvia, who are doing amazing work for the network.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can wrap up for today. Have a lovely afternoon, and we'll be back in touch. We will share all of these materials as we always do.
Yeah.
And lovely to have you. You've been a great audience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.